Welcome to the Force Always. My name is Diz, aka David Zammit, or the other way around, whatever you like. And let's get on with the show. News. Well, again, my friends, just not much news out there at all. They are going to start filming soon Star Wars Starfighter, which is with Ryan Gosling as the lead, which is coming out in 2027. This is the more exciting next step for Star Wars. They announced I think either major or a villain, I'd say it's major, against Ryan Gosling in this film. It's going to be by Matt Smith, who actually was a part of Star Wars, but was somehow dropped from The Rise of Skywalker because of the backlash of that film with the fans and critics and things like that. Maybe that was a blessing in disguise. And let me just add, none of these opinions are really mine. It's just what is out there, and it's not an entirety of the whole Star Wars fandom or the whole commercial audience. But yeah, so Matt Smith has been announced. I think he looks. I don't think you need to put any makeup in this guy at all. He looks like a villain. Like, I reckon this is one of the best casting choices ever. I'm a little bit doubtful of Ryan Gosling. I like him. I think he's great. But he is a real pretty boy, and he has a very big name. And I just think the success of Star Wars back in the day, not just because it was successful, but because it was it just worked. You didn't need big names. That's what I thought. So to more news, the sequel trilogy, with its first episode, which was episode 7, The Force Awakens, is coming up to a 10th year anniversary. A bit later in the show, I will interview myself, an exclusive, in what I think about that. Anyway, so that's pretty much the news for this time around. Let's get into the views. Views is not about, how many views you get on YouTube. And let me tell you, for me, I'm not here for the YouTube views, because if I was, I would have been gone a long time ago. But if I get them, if I don't get them, I'm still here, because I am the Force Always. Within myself, I just love it. I love Star Wars. So views is really about my story ideas in what what could happen. As I've said to you before, I accept the story at hand, and that's how it is. Like we all have opinions on what they should have done, what they should do, what they shouldn't do, and things like this. But my opinion is just, this is my views. This is a story idea. I would love to see, as a story idea, I know that this thing called keeping things mysterious is a thing in Star Wars, but I don't think that's the overwhelming factor in, making something good or great or kept as it was. Like, keeping Boba Fett, whatever you like to pronounce it as mysterious. Like, just keep the mystery. Keep the mystery of Darth Vader and how he fell and stuff like that. I think, look, stories are always interesting to be told and how they work out. Keeping things mystery has a sort of a fascination to it, but I think, life is filled with stories. We should just tell stories, but it just should be I say the word should, but the stories just, you know, are told. That's how it should be. Should. Um, but I would like to see the backstory, more not a backstory, the Yoda species. Let's call it Yoda species. I would absolutely love for this to be uh, dove into in a real significant way, not just like a little side note in a next Star Wars adventure. We may get this in the Mandalorian film. I don't know, because we've got Grogu, which is known as Baby Yoda, which is of the same species as Yoda. We may find they're going to that planet where they came from. I would like to just see more about that. I'm very intrigued of what that would look like. What would that feel like? What would it be like? Just everything. I just think that would be great. I'm not really into. I did say backstories moments ago, but I didn't. I don't mean backstory. I mean, I just like to have details. That's what the best way to put it is. Details about, you know, particular things, and Yoda is definitely one, because not just because to know, because Yoda for me, if there's any character in Star Wars I love, it's probably number one, is Yoda. But I love Yoda. Yoda is my favorite. Without sort of discrediting everything else, really it's just a way to answer a question of who's your favorite character. I would say Yoda. But look, everything has its place. Everything has its place. Even Lobo. I like Lobo. I like his design. If you don't know who Lobo is, he's in Empire Strikes Back. He's basically sort of this quiet leader of a army force for Lando Calrissian. He's got this electronic piece stuck to his head. He's a bald guy. I just thought that was a great little character. Not significant, but I just thought it was great. But yeah, again, I would like to see some details, story details in cinematic form of the Yoda planet. Yoda planet, the Yoda way, the Yoda life. It would just be great. I almost think you could do a standalone film, which is set now, like in the now of Star Wars, rather than doing a prequel or whatever it is, and it would just, I reckon, it would have sellable value to the common audience, and it would definitely have a sellable um, to the fandom. I mean, yes, there will be people that will oppose it and stuff like that, but I think it'll be great. Anyway, that's my story idea for which is a part of views. Let's get into interviews. Interviews is this week exclusive moi. Because we've got the 10th anniversary of Force Awakens coming up, should it be celebrated in any way? I just think, look, let's go straight to the point. I think 10 years is a great number. It's a, significant number. I just don't think it really needs it. I just don't think you really, I mean, yes, you get some pins or get some stickers or whatever it is, but I just don't think it's, in nowadays, I just don't think it's long enough to go, my goodness, let's celebrate 10 years. I think, look, 20 years plus would be great. I also think that, unfortunately, the fandom with the sequel trilogy, whether you're a part of the fandom or not, or commercial side, people are just not into the sequels at this stage. And I just don't think it would do anything, a world of good for anyone. I don't. If you re-release it at the cinema, I don't know. I think it's. I wouldn't do it. I just wait for 20 years. Just wait for 20 years. I mean, that was roughly the success of where the special editions sort of come out in that era. It sort of came out, about that point, the celebration for 20 years for Star Wars, and It really had a great buzz. It was just great. It was so good. I remember it. So I remember going to the THX cinema, certified cinema here in Melbourne, Australia, which is really rare to find. But anyway, it was in an area called Knox, and I saw the special editions there just because it was a THX theatre. If that gave any difference to the enormous sound in that particular cinema, I don't know, but I know it was still great. But yeah, I think let's just not worry about the 10-year anniversary of Force Awakens. It's, I think something needs a bit more age to it. You could have like a red wine if you want, after being 3 years mature. You know, let's, mature it a bit longer and you'll get just better taste value out of it. So that's my question and answer for exclusive interview with myself, David Zammit, aka Diz, whatever you like to call. And so now goes to the the part of the show called reviews, because we're on this Force Awakens sort of thing, and it is coming to the 10-year anniversary, and I will put my, moment in. Here is this particular figure, classic size figure, was probably the hardest figure for me to get. Now I collect figures, in their, and I leave them in their packaging. Call me whatever you want to call me. I do have figures outside the packaging, but that's it just came about. Like, I've only got a few of them. I'd rather be in the packaging. I love the packaging, but this here was, my friends, was the hardest one for me to get. Captain Phasma. When this character came out in The Force Awakens, people were seriously excited. Like, what is this? Who is this? Why is this? About the character, that is. And it was a big fascination. It was also a fascination that she was female. And at that point in Star Wars, the introduction with a lot of, leading females was a big thing. Now, whether you like that or not, personally, I think if it fits, it's fine. She was fine. But this character here, The Force Awakens, Captain Phasma, I finally got. And I hold that very high. This, my friends, I was not in love with the character. Like, I didn't think the character was the best thing ever. That in mind, I would give this character, excuse me, 9 out of 10 for this particular piece I've got. I'll give this 9 out of 10. Yep. So that is the show for this time around, my friends. Michael in Werribee South is been sent on a mission to dive into a film I suggested to him. Not Star Wars, because for him to start Star Wars, this guy, Michael Werribee South, you would have to sit next to him and explain every moment of why, when, how, whatever part you enter. But I've told him to go and see this particular film, Crimson Tide, which is a Jerry Bruckheimer and I think Don Simpson at the time film. One of the greatest films ever. So, hopefully that will get him started, and then I can get him into the Star Wars stuff, which is, what we all love. Well, most. Some. I don't know. But until next time, my friends, keep rockin'.